Welcome back. Welcome to my world. Come on in. It is Father's Day, and I am very busy. It is a wonderful day. I always celebrate Father's Day, as I am a single mother, and I tend to celebrate all holidays, regardless of gender. As most of you who are single parents, we tend to really rally up for those that are gender. In the male category, as those of you that know me know that this has always been a special day for me, as I grew up with my son, with my dad and mom being hands on deck on these days. So Sundays is Ding the Bell. That's where we put our problems on the table, and Sundays, Father's Day, is no different because my dad has always rallied up for Father's Day. Adam has a wonderful dad, and it has always been a challenge on Father's Day. Anyway, that's also in the book. I'm an author. I have written a book. It is called If You Only Had 1 Year. And for those of you who know childhood, you cannot rewind it. So we have been very blessed this last month as we have reconnected our past, and we are very thankful because now we have come full circle and things are all kumbaya and we're swaying like wheat. So this is a wonderful, wonderful bookend to my life, and it has been a blessing, to say the least. So like with most of us who have gone through challenges, it is a wonderful gift to be able to say that this has been a wonderful month. And I have got to tell you that when you can't make things right, my mother said to make things better. And she instilled that in me. And today, more than ever, being in Studio M on Sunday, it is a big day to celebrate Father's Day in. You know, layers of love go with us on Sunday dinners with all of our families. Well, I'm sure of this. And today, I promise this is going to be something good. Thank you for stopping in here. Stay a bit. The internet is a busy place. Let these 7 days of balance be your traveler's rest. Each day I promote living life on purpose with something each day to ponder in hopes to inspire you to celebrate history and create more. So welcome to my world. Come on in. Today I'm your coach, your head coach, and I'm on a mission to celebrate history and create more. I promise this is going to be something good. You know, I live with my dad, 93, and this coming week, it is his birthday week. Mother's is in June 8th. Dad is June 25th. June is Father's Day, and we have Mother's Day close in here too. So to say that this has been a busy month, well, I'm telling you, we have to get started because June is just an absolute busy time. The problem is today that in our family, we overdo everything. And that is a problem at times. However, what a wonderful problem to have. You know, overdoing love is what we call in our family loving more. Now, that is a serious problem to have. You see, let's start from the beginning. It's just like today, I had a birthday party from one of my best friends. It was her mother's birthday, and look what they gave us, keepsake mugs, because her mother collects Shirley Temple. Is this just not perfect for my vintage love affair? Hold on. So I had a birthday party. My sister takes my dad to the casino, and he wins a ton of money. Social events. Mondays, arts and culture. Well, for my dad, that usually involves pinochle. And this coming up week, we have his brothers, Chubb and Danny, coming back. And then every day it's in our house here I live with my dad. My mother has passed away a year ago, June 8th or June 7th. And then there's puzzle time every day with Alan, my brother-in-law, at 3:00. Tuesdays, well, that's health and wellness and treats. Well, in our place, our treat orders go in to my sister Carmen, as she is the family baker. And well, she's the best at it. Health and wellness, well, now that's constantly on my shoulders. And with my dad, we walk, walk, walk. And like the Saint Dr. Paulson, who is a saint in our family, he has a famous line. And he says, if you don't use it, bud, you will lose it. So, of course, Dad also has his own Pete. And he's from the medical, Stanford Medical, who Zooms us when I need him. Nothing disrespectful, but in our family, for health and wellness, we always rely on the men. And nothing disrespectful. I just say when you need results in our family, for my dad, we always go to a man. And for my son, we went with Pete. And therefore, now I picked a Pete. So in most cases in our family, we just pick a Pete. So if you need health and wellness, I would suggest go with a Pete. Wednesdays, that's what's happening. Well, now this is a doozy. Dad's home here is a buzz. Most days starting with Chris's good morning calls every day with him and his boys. Then it ends with my son giving him that what's happening report. With all these calls in between, it leaves me dizzy to say the least, which is why I take naps. Then came last Thursday. I thought this week, when I never read the news, unless it comes up on that feed thing on the Facebook deal. Well, then this Thursday, it almost sent me into a coma. And I call this particular coma was a preservation coma. I will tell you why I've been missing in action for about 3 days. It happened to do the problem that came up. Now, I hope you are all resting, or at least you should all sit down. Paul Bunyan was assaulted by vandals. I'm still not over it. This popped up on Thursday, and it almost Paul Bunyan was created by a man that walked into our opera house about week 1. We own a 1907 all original on the National Register of Historic Places. It's in the book that I wrote. I was 1 week into owning it with my twin brother, and in pulled up a man on a truck. He pulled up at the truck, and he had a giant cow on the back. And his name is Don McFarland, who is the man from Brainerd that came up with the Paul Bunyan Amusement Park. This is the only vacation in my life that my parents took us to. It was a day trip. We packed a cooler. And I tell you, this particular Paul Bunyan that was assaulted, it just blew my whole day. I had to take multiple rest. And, when people do not, my mother always told me that the only thing that will get us in trouble in this lifetime is a temper. So she was just very adamant about building us a toolbox on how to control our tempers. She said we can never, ever fight people, that we must learn how to fight an issue and redirect our anger into something constructive. And so whoever these people are that destroyed this Paul Bunyan, I just could not come to you that night. I had to figure out an idea. Let me get back to I'm just going to go off the cliff. Thursday, I prepared this live stream like I always do with deep all-day thought, usually with the whistle in my step all day as I go from letter to letter in my mind. Then I pick the one for the day. Then Paul Bunyan, this set my whole day into feelings like I had years ago when I almost died trying to save my opera house and our depot's history. So this is what I'm saying to you, that I almost went into that thing that happened to me in Staples. I wrote about it in the book. This is when my parents and my family kidnapped me. So I'm not going to go there. Deep breath. Hit my anchors. Shirley Temple, I just love my cup. I just love my cup. You know why I love my cup now? Because I'm going to anchor peace and love and Italy and Shirley. Here's what I learned. I think the mission that I'm working on since 2012 is more needed today. And I took these last 3 days to go into my turtle shell and find a way to make it better. I felt that not sharing with you for these last 3 days was best. And then came Thursday. That Thursday, that was my heart and soul day, thank God, because that night that I did not come to you with this script that I wrote out that was a little hot, maybe just a little bit too riled up, that I felt that while sleeping, the story of Paul I knew was too much. And I needed to take a few days and just think about how to share authentically about what brought me to my knees. So I decided how I'm going to share these with you. I am going to open up on my digital website, my Extreme Home, an area that's almost ready. You know what it's called? It's called my closet. You're going to love it. To make sure I took Friday, now that's tips and lessons learned, and Saturday, that's the getting ready. So that's what I did. I got the closet in order. And I planned it out with all the boundaries that I want to share. So tonight that I can report that this has been the best result of when you can't fix it and you can make it better that I think I came up with. And Mother would be so proud. But back to my dad and our next problem. In the middle of all this coma that I've been in, the preservation coma, the washing machine broke. So today on Father's Day, as I have been the whole week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I have been doing Victorian laundry. And Dad's been watching this. Now we do between 7 to 15 loads of laundry a day. And I'm not joking. Now, most of you know at 82 degrees in our house, oh dear. We have flaming arthritis happening, so we have to keep our house very warm for comfort. We wash between probably 5 and 10 loads. On the worst days, 15. But this Victorian laundry, with all the bedding and private things that we wash and keep fresh every day, according to Mother's standards. Now, I remember my mother telling me about how she had to make butter and how they used the cook stove years ago and no electricity. And she was also the last one out in the country on her road due to a very stubborn neighbor to ever get a telephone. Now, you would think that this was the 1800s, but you see, we grew up in a very small town, and my dad had 11 children, and my mother had 6, there was 5 kids, and then a bunch of cousins that her mother raised and dad raised. And these women, including my mother and her sister, and my mother and my dad's mother, and all of his sisters, those women were built like bricks. I'm talking rocks. You've never seen anything like the women from our area. And at today's birthday party, the women from those days that are walking around so amble and able, and the farm men that were there, rock solid. They worked from sunup to sundown. They never tired. Neither did my dad, nor his dad. I know why now that our sauna that I keep talking about, it has a big wash basin in it, and it has a tilt to it, and it has this ribbed area all the way down. So as I'm taking all the bedding and all these private things and I'm scrubbing, and I have my helper Terry, my Yaya, we're scrubbing and then we're twisting and we're wrapping in towels, and then we take it out to our back porch and we're hanging it everywhere. Whatever happened to mom's clothespins? They're all over but there's no clotheslines anymore. So as we're doing all this, I'm thinking of all those strong women that have come before us. They were the rock of our households and the men that did all the farm work. So what I did all week was I did not complain a bit. And I listened to my dad's olden days. And I got to thinking tonight when my dad was telling me, he says, honey girl, let me share the truth about our home place. It was not the only room, not only the one room schoolhouse that was uphill, but the Dane dad, his dad was Danish, decided to keep his family in shape. He would put the well for our water, because we did not have running water, in the valley between the farm and the house. So here's the barn and here's the home, and the well was in the valley. The valley between the barn on the hill and the home. So when he would always say that he went uphill to school and uphill all the way back, he said, tonight I went uphill everywhere I went. He said, that is why I always say I went uphill to the barn and uphill to the house. And all 11 of us kids, our whole childhood, everywhere we went was uphill. For every single pan of water, every pail of water to the barn, everything was uphill. He said, everything I've done for 94 years this Friday has been uphill. And I guess that's been a good way to live, honey girl. I've lived my whole life uphill. I said, Dad, Mother always said if we can't make things right, we can make them better. Sundays are for ding the bell, putting our problems on the table. My dad is our family leader. He brings solutions to our lives throughout our whole life. It was always on Sunday that when he finally sat still and he looked around at his wife who he spent every day of his life working hard to love more. And then over to all 3 of us kids, he worked hard every day to make sure our worlds were brighter than the day before. And he would, and then before he passed those chicken ribs and shrimp, he made sure he worked hard to remind us that he was the luckiest man in the world for all his hard work. He was the most blessed because he has all of us. This was the kind of week that Dad and I have had. Problems of the best kind. He has loved us more, and we have overdone it all our whole life. So I can't wait to share the closet with you. There were a number of letters I wrote this week that went into my closet. I'll be presenting them in fun ways. And I can't say anything more tonight. But it was a shock, my Paul Bunyan, being assaulted and thinking about all the kids today that aren't prepared to handle their tempers and to not be able to celebrate and to learn from our history and to share their emotions in positive ways, to celebrate our history and create more, and to find things that we can embrace and to learn from, and to see our progress and how far we've come, even from those things that we've had to come uphill from. So I hope that today we can step back out and keep bouncing. And for those things that we've come so far from, I know in my life as a single mother, it has been nice to be able to welcome a father and to celebrate him for the love for all the uphill battles that he has had and has future of more of them coming. I hope that we can join hands with all the fathers and to celebrate and to love them where they're at and where they've been, and to thank them for all the love that they were able to give. Because I know for a fact that they were doing the best that they could. And I sure celebrate my son's father for where he's been and for the love that he was able to share. And that's a big step for me. And to all you dads out there, you cannot rewind childhood. And lean in. And to all you single moms out there, I really want to say, lean in and do more and go uphill and celebrate, because it's all worth it. And I really appreciate being here. This has absolutely been the time of my life. This is my 7 days journal. I love making these videos. It has been the time of my life. I was raised on the 7 days of balance, and I also had this closet when I was a little girl. It was a magical place all my life. I created these spaces with my son. I'm sure you all have these spaces in your home too. So stay tuned. This is going to be something good, I promise. Be here with me 7 days a week, celebrating history and creating more. If you like my work, please like and share, or heck, even give me one of those thumbs up buttons. Oh, and that's just something fun. Just know that all of your kindness, I feel it. And I'm grateful for recording and inspiring others to become their own preservationist. It is a big deal. Find your rocks and grab a ball and build a team and look for a feather. Hope is all around. So jump, bounce, and fly with me 7 days on purpose. I teach it, preach it, and repeat it with the balance. Like, share, and remember that Sundays are for those who dare. Be avant-garde, be rare, and remember me, sincerely, Colleen, Coco, number 33.